Good evening, William Jason Hilliard. I'd like to recap the first three trumpets again, cover the fourth, and touch on the fifth and sixth trumpet. So, again, the first trumpet was Peter taking the good news out, the kingdom of God, that good news, and the news from the Tanakh and the prophets and from the Father and from Jesus, taking that message out to the Jews and the Gentiles. And we see persecution here from Saul because he's the fire mingled with blood. The second angel, this is Paul perverting the words, spreading the Antichrist message around the Mediterranean Sea, winded up in Rome. And you could use parables in these, like the sower. It talks about the devil snatching them away when it was sown on rocky ground. We could use that when people just lay in his writings, or people that go into the good soul, which is Jesus's words, because you can find many treasures there. That's why he gives you a stone in Pergamos to get you out of there and give you a new name. And you could use the wineskin parable, the lady cleaning up the house to find the talent, all those. Because you can see in the first three angels, in the third angel, the wormwood, those are the writings of Paul again. You can see it building up to show you this Antichrist, also showing you the beast of the sea. The beast of the sea, which is the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, and the beast is being a false prophet. In this case, the first three is going to be Paul, and that bleeds over into Christianity today. And again, the third one, it talks about the rivers, which were the Gospels, and the fountains of waters, which were the followers of Jesus, John, James, and Peter, the first book of Peter. And the wormwood, describing old wood with worms coming up through it. That's sending you, making you take notice of Paul's writings there. And it says many men died of the waters because they were made better. So again, the first three angels is building you up to show you the Antichrist coming here. That was Saul, Paul, and we see that beast of the sea coming up, which is the dragon, the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, the beast being Paul, and the false prophet we'll see next in the fourth, because this is the book being formed. The Quran is the fourth angel. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so that a third part of them were darkened. And the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. So what happened here is, the Roman Catholics, the church, back in Constantine, put these books together. And 2/3 of the New Testament is dark. That's Paul's writing. And 1/3, Jesus' Gospels and the letters of John, James, and Peter, those are light. Okay? So you see here in this fourth angel, there's a third being darkened. And it says here, the sun, that represents the Father. The moon represents the Son. And the stars represents the prophets. So they were all darkened in a sense. So what they did was they created a new book and made it total darkness. And we see that in a couple chapters later when John eats the book from the angel that comes down from heaven. That his face shone like the sun and his feet were like pillars of fire. And John ate that book and was told he was going to prophesy again. Because we see this angel here, the fourth angel, it goes into the army that's forming from this book. And it says here, it comes out of the pit, and that goes into chapter 9, that it comes out of the pit of hell. And we know that Muhammad received his revelation in the cave, in the ground. Remember, one by sword and one by captivity. Paul being the sword, because he persecuted and perverted the word, and one by captivity, the cave. And also the little book. No, that's what many people call the Quran today, the little book. So John ate that book. And it says here in verse 13, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound. So it's showing that there's war coming, because you got two false religions out there. And you'll see that in chapter 9, the first army that sets up is Islam, because it has a face of a man. And then in the teeth of a lion, they speak like they're a Jew, but they have a name of another father. And the second one is Roman Catholic Church building its religious beast army up. And you know that because they're in control even of Islam, because it almost looks here like it came out of the Roman Catholic Church, but don't quote me on that one. But I see here in Revelation, it talks about the smoke and the fire and the brimstone. Well, the fire is Paul. The smoke is when you put that fire next to the hail, you get smoke. And those were words of Jesus. And the brimstone is the false god in the book of Quran. So you got the fire in the Bible and the brimstone in Quran, the two false ones. That's why they're in dark sackcloth, because you have a false prophet in each of these religions. So again, in chapters 9, you're seeing the coming of the beast of the sea, which is the Roman Catholic Church, and the beast of the earth, Muhammad in the cave came out of the earth, Islam. And we see the wars, the holy wars and such, that came out of that. So again, chapters 9, the two beasts, religious system, moving forward. So again, first one, Peter sending out his message through the way. The second one is Paul perverting the words, the Antichrist message, sending them out. The third one is the putting together of the books with the true words of Jesus Christ and the false words of the Antichrist from Paul. And the fourth angel is the showing of the Quran, which is total darkness, which is total falseness. Then that leads you into the two religious beast army system that will move out from there forward. And I'll do maybe another video breakdown chapter 9 in detail, talking about the descriptions of each and what they mean. So again, maybe let me see if I see anything that pops out. It talks about releasing the 4 angels at the river Euphrates. Well, yeah, you can see in the number around the 7th century to 600s. And, you know, that all ties into here. So I'll do another video later on, and everybody have a good night, and talk to y'all later. Shalom.